everyone, I'm Reagan. And I'm Reese, and we're from Boardwalk Baked Goods. And today we are going to show you how to make the Daffodil Cake. This is one of our great-grandma Van Til's favorites, and she always makes it at Easter time. And since it is really close to Easter, we've decided to make it. The Daffodil Cake has two parts. One of them is the yellow part, and one of them is the white part. And when you mix them together, it makes it look like a daffodil. So the ingredients you will need to make part of the daffodil cake are some cake flour. You don't want to use regular flour. Some sugar, cream of tartar, baking powder, not baking soda, vanilla extract, and 6 eggs that are at room temperature, and a Bundt Pan to make the daffodil cake look like pretty. And also you want to preheat your oven to 325 degrees. So first we are going to start off by separating the eggs. So let's get baking! So first we're going to start with the eggs. We have to separate them into 2 different bowls, and then we're going to mix them all together with like different cake batter and mixtures and stuff. And at the end we're going to put them all together in the Bundt Pan and cook them. So I'm team white and I'm team yellow. Let's get cracking! Woo! So to start, you're going to take an egg and then crack it on the edge of your bowl carefully, and don't let the yolk fall out, and have it into 1 eggshell, and then carefully toss it back and forth in the eggshell until all the white is out and you are only left with the yolk. So now I only have the yolk, so I'm going to dump it into this bowl. We don't want any yolk to get in this bowl, and we don't want much white to get in that bowl. So you gotta keep continuing this process until you have done all 6 eggs. If you're worried about getting the yellow into the egg whites bowl, just do it into a smaller bowl in between, like this. Then dump the yolks into the yolk bowl, and then take the egg whites that are in the bowl that you just cracked and pour them into the egg white bowl. Now there's an easier way how to do it. First, it's Team White's turn. So we're going to start off by mixing the egg whites until they're fluffy. You're going to want to mix them on a high, medium speed type for 5 to 10 minutes until they turn nice and fluffy. So you're going to put the mixer in, make sure it's locked, and then beat them. We're still mixing, but I'm sorry, it really needs to be 10 to 15 minutes. So just added 1 next to the 5. So now I'm going to check it, and when we are lifting up our beater, we want to look for stiff peaks. So let's see if we have stiff peaks. I don't think we're ready yet. We need to whip it a little more. That's just floppy peaks, and they don't even look like peaks at all. So now we are going to check if our egg whites are ready. I think they look ready. Oh yes, they are very stiff. We are ready to start adding more ingredients. So to start, we are going to take our cream of tartar, and we are going to take a ½ teaspoon of it, and we're going to add it to the egg mixture, like that. We don't want to whip it fast like we did with the egg yolks to get it all fluffy, because if you over whip the eggs yolks, they won't work. So we're going to put it on a low speed until the cream of tartar is all mixed in. And then while it's on a low speed, we are going to add 3/4 cup of sugar, and we're going to add that slowly too. And then it's going to mix all in. And we are also going to need 1.5 cups of our cake flour. So we have already sifted the cake flour 4 times to make sure it's nice and there's no lumps in it, because we don't want our daffodil cake to be lumpy. So we're going to turn it on. No, we're going to pour it in first, like that, and then we're going to turn it on a low speed. And while that's mixing in, we are going to get our 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and we are just going to measure that out. I'm doing it over a separate bowl so we don't get too much in the mixture. And then once you have your 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract, you're going to just pour it in too. So now we have to let all of it mix together and all combined. And we're going to set it aside for later. Now it's time for Team Yellow. So here I have my egg yolks, and now I'm going to pour in 3/4 cups of sugar. Now I'm going to beat it for 3 minutes. So I beat it for 3 minutes, and it's a nice, very pretty yellow color, and it has bubbles in it. So now I'm going to alternate. Right here I have 1/4 cups of really hot water, and here I have 3/4 cup of baking flour, and I mixed it with some baking powder, and I used 1 teaspoon. So now I'm just going to alternate. I'm going to add a little bit of the really hot water, and then I'm going to just scoop some of this and then pour that in there. Now I'm going to mix it. I'm finished with my beating, and I added 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, and now it's time to put it in the cake pan. And now it's time to combine Team Yellow and Team White. So we're gonna do it kind of like a checkered board. We use our big spoons and we scoop it in, a little white and then a little yellow, little white and a little yellow. Then on top of that, top of the white we put the yellow, and on top of the yellow we put the white. So I'll go first. So she's gonna take a scoop of her yellow, and we want to be very careful when we layer them because we don't want them to lose their thing. So we make sure that it's nice and even, flat. Well, it can't be even because it's like a cake and nothing's can't be perfect on a cake. So she layered her yellow, and now next to that I'm going to take a scoop of my egg white, and I'm going to set it carefully right next to the yellow and let it just flatten out like that. So next she is going to take a scoop of her yellow and put it right next to the white.
We want to make it kind of look like a marbling effect, kind of. But it will look like a 3D checkered board, basically.
So we are layering the cake and doing like the checkered board effect. And then when you cut into it, it'll look all white and yellow like a daffodil.
So we have combined all of our ingredients in the pan and we are almost ready to bake.
So you have to wipe off all your drips so it will be easier to get out of the pan when you're done baking it. Okay. Our drips are all wiped up
And we're ready to put in the oven for 1 hour.
After it has came out of the oven, you should let it cool upside down for an hour or 2 hours. And that's what it will look like. So we got our cake out of the pan and onto our plate. And if it was a little hard to get out, that is okay. That means that you did it right.
So to start by making the frosting, you're going to take your milk and cornstarch and put it on the stove to a boil for 1 minute or until thick, and then let it cool. So while that's cooling over there, we are going to start by making like the sugar part of the frosting.
So you put 1 cup of granulated sugar in the bowl, not powdered sugar. And now we are going to add the butter and the Crisco.
You will need 1/2 cup of butter and 1/2 cup of Crisco. So we're going to add them in the bowl.
Now we have the butter, Crisco, and sugar in the bowl.
Now we are going to beat it until there's no crystals.
So we beated our frosting for 10 minutes, and now it's time to add our milk
And our vanilla. So you want to add these slowly. Now it's time to frost the cake. So she's gonna start frosting the cake, but before she starts, we take our frosting from our big bowl that we mixed up and we scoop some of it into a separate bowl because when we're doing the crumb coat, we might get some crumbs on the frosting and we don't want that to go back in the frosting. And if it does, then we'll get crumbs on the top of our cake and it won't look very professional.
So now I'm going to start by doing the crumb coat. Ta-da! We are finished frosting our daffodil cake, and I hope you liked it. This is a hard cake to make, but I hope you make it.
And if you do not know all the ingredients or how much of the ingredients to put in, we will have the ingredients in the description box below. So tomorrow we are going to cut into it and we'll show you what it looks like.
Bye!